Hello and welcome to the Little Nut Chronicles. This is a little crazy nut story, one you might think you've heard before, but, well, do the best you can to hear it for the first time. The story goes that there was this king, and he had this huge kingdom, and for a while he'd sort of let the money and the finances of the kingdom sort of run away with themselves. He hadn't really paid much attention to them. And he finally decided, well, okay, it's about time that he started paying attention again. And so he started recounting all his debtors and all the people who'd been sort of running the kingdom for him on his behalf. And there was one particular fellow who owed him sort of 5,000, it was 5,000 talents that he owed him. And he called this fellow in and said, well, I know you've been running my kingdom for me, and well, it's time that we sort of settled all the debts and looked at where all the money's been going. And it turns out that you owe me 5,000 talents. So I'd like the money paid back, please. And the fellow, sort of a knight or a lord in this kingdom, said, I'm terribly sorry, Your Majesty, but I don't have the 5,000 talents right now. And the king said, well, if you can't pay them back, I'm going to have to sell you and your family into slavery to make the money back because, well, the financial situation at the moment is dire. And this fellow said, oh, he begged him and went down on his knees and said, please, Your Majesty, I can't settle the debt right now. And in a sort of a moment of benevolent gregariousness, the king said, well, consider this debt null. It's I won't hold you to it. And this lord was incredibly grateful and said, oh, thank you, Your Majesty. But then he went out into the street after the meeting was finished, and there in the street he saw a peasant who owed him only 500 talents. And he grabbed this peasant by the neck and said, you owe me 500 talents, I want it paid up right away. And the peasant said, oh, but I don't have the money, I can't pay you. And he said, well, if you can't pay me, I will throw you in prison. And he did. But it just so happened that a few people from the court who had been at the particular meeting where this fellow was sort of off the hook, given off the hook by the Majesty, the king, saw this. And so news reached the king fairly quickly that this lord had thrown this peasant into the dungeons for owing him only 500 talents. And so the king called this lord back, called the fellow back before him and said, is it true that you have thrown this person in prison, this peasant, for owing you merely 500 talents? And the lord said, yes, that is true, Your Majesty. He said, I let you off scot-free for owing me 5,000 talents, and yet you have this peasant thrown in prison for a mere 500 talents. Well, for that you and your whole family will be sold into slavery, so that I can get my 5,000 talents back. And this person that you've had imprisoned, well, he will be set free. I hope you enjoyed that story. Thanks for stopping by.